What's up, y'all? Y'all all right? Peace and love. Greetings to all my fellow human beings or earthlings that is tuning in to this enlightening transmission by your brother John, the Nubian Winner. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what? I want to create this particular content for thought-provoking reasons, dealing with some things I want to talk about regarding me making some sense of a lot of perspectives, you know what I'm saying, that we are exposed to on a daily basis as adults who've been exposed to certain things from childhood all the way up to our contemporary adulthood right now in our society and in our world. Now, like I was saying, for instance, right, um, what I'm going to talk about, let's make it make sense. Or like the term go, um, let us reason together, where we go beyond the mental conditioning of certain engineering that has been purposefully administered by certain forces that want us to actually behave a certain way. Now, mind you, I've been exposed to these particular conditionings, and y'all have been exposed to these particular conditionings. But the bottom line is this: regarding those conditionings, what is the end result of these particular conditionings when it comes to the reality of us having the free will to really tap into our own potential, creating a certain life for ourselves in which we are following our dreams in a world that seems to do certain thinking for us, but we end up living the dreams of a matrix that was created to cause us as the people, we the people who are supposed to have the power, but to merge our energies into a machine and technological AI system that has certain algorithms in it that has been designed by certain mathematicians to the point where the computer sciences that they have these designed, or the machinery in which they have designed, is a machine in which they is trying to merge us with as organic human beings who really is supposed to be into the complete autonomy of ourselves, to where we find ourselves doing things where we bear good fruit from the tree in which we represent. Like the term, you judge a tree by the fruit it bears, right? Which takes me to this particular area of the Bible, right? Where it say, well, this is coming from the book of Luke chapter 6, verse 40. What's this? 43, right? No good tree bears bad fruit, nor does a bad tree bear good fruit. Now, regarding the trees of life out here, representing people, groups, and organizations, what kind of fruits are certain organizations bearing on you and me? What kind of fruits are individuals who we may find that is in our lives, right? What kind of fruit is they bearing in terms of that fruit being good fruit or bad fruit that is to be used to a certain effect to where we having negative effects from what we expose ourselves to regarding who we associate with and what type of things we let into our heads that turn out to be things that play with our heads. See, we want to put a stop to which appear nearly impossible because in life we always going to have mind games. Who paying attention to the reality of living a life where our minds are purely under our control through our free will, individual impulse, and good judgment that's in sync with the cosmos and the original aim and purpose of the dark matter consciousness that our third eyes is connected with, in addition to our melanated bodies. As far as us paying attention to these nomenclatures about ourselves, it seems no, there have actually been a scheme perpetrated by certain forces and mind manipulators, right? That don't want us to find ourselves. Because mind you, remember when I said make it make sense. Us as a people, right? Black people in particular, here in the United States, we have been exposed to a lot of psychological warfare. What has this warfare created regarding the mental conditioning of the collective numbers of our people here within the borders of the United States of America? Now, man, we can't deny that something is wrong out here when it comes to our people on a certain level not uniting in 2024 in comparison to, like, y'all know, like during the revolutionary movements of our people, like getting on the ball during the 60s and dealing with the black power movements and things of that particular nature, where our people had a sense of consciousness about sticking together, pooling our resources, and living for, of, and by one another. Being on a certain page back then to the point where how now things are more in disarray than it's ever been when it come to in the light of the sociology of how we view our social condition right now in terms of being in pursuit of money as a result of integration and assimilation into a system that's rooted in a certain justice orientation for its people as a result of what they call the white man's and woman. Matter of fact, no, not even the white woman, the white man's settlement or English white male regarding the settlement of this government system that we are currently in that has certain treaties with our ancestors that they don't regularly publicize and talk about, to the point where it's like black people find ourselves in a condition to where we see ourselves groping in the dark, being in search for light. But in some cases, we find ourselves as a people, right, lost in a sauce, way behind by light years, stuck in certain ways to where certain inquisitiveness about what's really going on is not at the forefront of our consciousness for us to grow into a mature mind state like a ripe fruit, right, that is a product of a tree that bore good ripe fruit. Now, when I speak about a ripe fruit, in order to get the proper nutrition from a fruit from a good tree, the fruit will have to be ripe. And when something is ripe, that means that it is in proper development stage to be fit and serve its purpose for what it's used for, regarding us as organic human beings being connected with nature to get certain nutrients from fruits and vegetables. Due to the fruit being ripe, that means it's ready to be properly utilized. Taking it to the level in terms of applying that terminology to us as persons, right? A lot of persons is not mature. In other words, adults who you would think that have minds that possess mature knowledge that will show as a reflection of them having some kind of mental development as far as our minds being ripe or seasoned enough to articulate certain subject matters that show that we are not minors in the mind, but yet we have adult bodies. Now, mind you, let's make this make sense. We are not babies that don't talk baby language, but yet we are adults. But we have adults amongst the populace that talk baby language. Don't be talking about nothing that has real substance to it, to the point where it's just full of all kind of fun and games that don't have nothing to do with power. So for the sake of this transmission pointing to the perspectives of power and us as adults, you know what I'm saying, communicating in ways for us to articulate matters regarding real world power, to the point where we don't be counted amongst certain segments of the population that are constituted as zombies. Now, I want to go into a particular scroll, right, dealing with its meaning and brief breakdown dealing with breaking down what a zombie is, right? Question. Okay, now this is out of the Right Knowledge series by the master teacher, breaking the spell off the minds of the blacks. Now check it out. Remember I said, okay, let's make sense of what's going on. Let's make sense of this. Now, here it is. A lot of our people perish for the lack of knowledge. To think is a gift. It isn't to be misused, abused, or underused, but yet do we use it in the capacity to where a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Who are you? Do you know yourself? What kind of things are you interested in as a extension of the Most High, the manifestation of the flesh, being the highest of the Most High's divine order in creation, to the point where our thinking abilities or attention spans has been distracted so much to the point where we have been reduced to being beasts or mere men who are savages in pursuit of happiness and a civilization of high society that reject people that they consider to be useless eaters, because these useless eaters constitute people to be counted as zombies of society or certain low-life nationality trash type people. Like, mind you, you can have certain people who know their nationality, right, but their status in society isn't in the upper classes of society, but yet indeed their nationality is who they are, regarding them being, say for instance, of the same nationality as of the people in the upper echelons of society, or the elites in society, or the high upper classes in society. But yet you have people of that same nationality, of that stock of people, right? But they low lives. Why is that? Why is they out here drug addicted? Why do they have mental problems? Why is they out here in these streets as derelicts, to the point where reaching them to think different about that particular kind of low vibration behavior patterns, and replace those low vibration behavior patterns with better positive habits that will enable them to be better in life, or strive to be better in life. Or when it comes to our people in particular, right? There's something called the Black Dilemma. Now, there is this term called misnomer. Now, I'm saying black in a language, I'm saying that in a language that you can understand, to reach you to where, in a perspective to where, okay, let that make sense what I'm talking about regarding where I'm going with this particular communication or social media content. You know what I'm saying? As someone who is doing just that, trying to make sense of what's going on around us in ways to where there's a lot of things going on around us, whether we care about it or not. These things is going on, and in most cases, it's going on unreported. Now, you have a lot of biblical perspectives that people are sleeping on. You have a lot of Quranic perspectives that people are sleeping on. You have a lot of scholarly writings and book materials that people are sleeping on, right? But yet, some of us is inquisitive to the point where we want to ask certain questions to lead to the reality of the real world so we can see beyond the veil of a matriarchic agenda that have put blinders over the people's eyes to the point where when you look out here in society, you see a lot of mental health issues to the point where people's characters is abnormal and full of mental devolution to where people act crazy out here. I'm talking about so crazy to the point where you gotta really watch yourself and be conscious of your surroundings to the point where you want to be focused, take care of your business, and be a positive pillar in society and in the community. But at the same time, we got rogue elements in our environment that we gotta protect ourselves against. You know what I'm saying? Now, going to the terminology here regarding what is a zombie. Out of the break the spell scroll, right? A zombie is a dead body reanimated by spirit demons whose purpose is to scare and terrify. But the person is neither alive mentally nor physically in the same way. And when he or she was fleshly alive, in other words, a zombie is a trance body or dead body being used by negative spirits, demons, or spirit demons. But there is no such thing as a person being resurrected back to physical life in the useful sense. You know, as physical life, after he or she is physically dead, physical death of a person is the unity and completion of all deaths as an individual's personality. An individual's ideologies and thoughts, right, if put in writing and in action, may survive the death of the body and prevail, but this is not the person's physical mind or mentality. It is the works of his or her mentality. For the mental faculties die with the rest of the person. Only the divine soul of the Most High all live on, live on for the rebinding into the all. Therefore, the works, physical or mental, or both of a person may survive physical death, but nothing else, such as a personal body, because there is no personal mind other than the mental of all the races. So, in other words, right, while we here on this physical plane, the works that we do remain here, left behind to serve humanity or to serve the world in a way that that reflect illumination that leads the way down the wheels of time for people to remain to be enlightened in the future, maintaining divine order on this physical plane while we here. But yet, there are fallen ones amongst us in physical form that's demonic in nature, that work in service of evil forces to get man and woman to fall. How do you identify those particular demonic people in a manifestation of the flesh doing these particular kind of works to put stumbling blocks in you and I's way, so we don't pretty much tap into the potential of raising ourselves into a high conscious state regarding this being connected to the spirit world, being stuck in this physical plane where we not bearing good fruits from the time that we have here, which is not about fun and games. Because it's more to us that meets the eye. We are spiritual beings who are to master certain elements of our physical bodies through us thinking correctly, through right knowledge, which is correct information. Now, man, we not here to be zombies, like Rakim said in Follow the Leader. We was put here to be much more than that, but we couldn't see because our mind was trapped. You know what I'm saying? So as a conscious MC, to reach the minds of those who have ear to hear what the Holy Spirit has to say to the temple, because we are temples of the Most High. We have to keep that in remembrance because there are forces, you know what I'm saying, that has a particular algorithm to an all-day program to do, and within their nature or internal nature is to be in opposition of the God seed. Now, here I am. I am of the God seed, right? A bloodline of power. Why do we have certain false definitions put on us to dampen our light? Though we are reflections of the black light. The black light is dark matter consciousness. We're not dealing with spookism. We're dealing with real spiritual science that makes sense in light of who we are as free thinking thought leaders that mean well in our social conduct with awareness of the geopolitical picture that we all is feeling the whims of, whether we know it or not, to the point where that's why we have to get involved and vocal regarding what's really going on, and not be a victim of certain things that's going on as a result of being ignorant. Because we are meant to be enlightened, but certain forces want to strip us of certain light, where we will find ourselves in ignorance to the point where if one find themselves being ignorant, they will be fit to be a slave. But an individual with knowledge, to where you know who you are and you know what you know, you won't be fit to be a slave, because we will have a psychic self-defense mechanism that will show the fools, right, who try to perpetrate that against us. It's like you play a fool. You play a fool to show the fool that you're not a fool. And you recognize them as the fool for trying to play you like a fool, only for them to find out that you are a smart beacon of light that expose them for who they are as a fraud, an individual who have a desire to commit an act of fraud against you as a good person that you will have to cut off. So being free from the scams out here, the scam of improper education, to where these certain perpetrators want to have us in ignorance, because using our intellect is important in this era of time. Okay, we have the upcoming elections going on. What do you really know about the campaigns of these people who running for the highest elected official office, in light of making you, like, as far as you being like, okay, an educated voter? Do you know what you're voting for? I'm not discouraging no one to vote. The voting system is a voting system. Is it real in terms of how your life is going to be affected, no matter who's in office? Because after all,